What's up, good vibes soul? Among all the commandments and law, love is the greatest of all. Welcome to our channel, Happiness Headquarters. I am Y311H, and it's a pleasure to have you aboard today. Respect to yourself. Good vibes soul. Here we react to videos. Good vibes videos from different humans from different places with different messages. And all this, my friend, we do it with one mission, a mission to spread peace, honesty, forgiveness, and ensuring all earthlings are loving towards you just like the way you love yourself. And you, my friend, you will also be loving towards everybody just like they love themselves. So that way, we can have a world full of good vibes. So as you dive in to check out these videos, remember that. And one more thing, my friend, before we dive in, we read from the book of knowledge, the guide of life. This book, my friend, has been helpful in adding more wisdom in our lives. And today, there's also something I'd like to share with you from it. Normally, we read from either this one or this one. Yeah, today we read from this one. This is what it says. You, therefore, have no excuse. You who pass judgment on someone else, for at whatever point you judge the other, you are condemning yourself. Because you who pass judgment do the same things. Now, we know that God's judgment against those who do such things is based on truth. So, when you, a mere man, pass judgment on them and yet do the same things, do you think you will escape God's judgment? Or do you show contempt for the riches of His kindness, tolerance, and patience, not realizing that God's kindness leads you towards repentance? Good vibes. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Thank you very much, my friend. You grab something also there that you can mention as you dive into spreading love. Let's give thanks also to our Creator. Thank you, dear Lord Father, for this day, for everything, Father, for life. All glory and honor belong unto you, dear Lord. Dear Lord Father, thank you even for this platform that you've given us to spread love to the whole world. May you uplift us, Father, as a whole channel and community, and help us to spread this love to the whole world. In Jesus' mighty name, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Good vibes, soul. Much love, and watch till the end kindly.
Jesus gives one of the most out-of-pocket analogies during his Sermon on the Mount that you probably never noticed. It occurs in Matthew 7 where he says, "Who among you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone?" And I know what you might be thinking to yourself, Robin, this is not out of pocket. This passage is very, very self-explanatory. Jesus explains himself. He says, "If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him?" Like, it's really obvious, Robin. He's trying to show us that God the Father knows how to give good things to us. To which I would say, let's look at the absurdity again. Who among you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Not picking up on it? Okay, let's do this. Bread, stone. Bread, stone. Still not picking up on it? Okay, one more time. Bread, stone. Making sense yet? No? Okay, how about this? One of the things that you're going to find in the Gospel, specifically John 8, is Jesus' statement where he says to the Jews that he's teaching, "You are of your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires." So the charge that Jesus brings against the Jews is that they are not doing their father's desires, but rather carrying out the desires of their true father, who is the devil. Meaning they're not living for righteousness, rather for unrighteousness, not for the desires of the spirit, but rather for the desires of the flesh. So when you're looking at this passage in Matthew 7 and going, what father in their right mind would give their child a stone instead of bread? The answer is very simple. The father of lies. And one of the other things you have to keep in mind here is that Jesus says that he is the bread of life. Because just as he refuted the devil when he was tempted with stones, he says, "It is written, man must not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." So when Jesus is telling the crowds, if you who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him? He's specifically talking about himself. That's why he says, therefore, whatever you want others to do for you, do also the same for them. For this is what? The law and the prophets. What Jesus is specifically saying at this moment on the Sermon on the Mount is the good thing that the Father gives to his children is Jesus, the one proclaimed in the law and the prophets.
The food you eat in America is so toxic it's actually illegal in other countries.
What the fuck is this, guys?
The impression that ice cream would melt after sitting out all night. Now it looks like somebody shit in my sink that had really bad diarrhea.
My radish was moving like that. Do you see that?
And I just cut it up to have for lunch. I don't know what's going on, but since when is watermelon doing this? I'm trying to break it, and it just won't break.
Stretchy. Everyone's like, oh, stretch it if it really is rubber. Stretchy. I'm like,
That was right.
Sauce did not do that.
I was cutting my beef, right? And for some reason, I just thought about putting a fucking magnet on there. Now, this is from Sam's Club, by the way.
put a magnet that I got from here into the Great Value Chicken.
TikTok, I really need your help with this one. I was cooking some spinach and one of the leaves just started inflating, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen. It kind of looks like plastic. Can somebody tell me what that is?
You guys, there is no way that's 80-20. There's no way.
Literally, come on, guys. That's like 50-50.
It's just like off to you.
I did my grocery order from Walmart, and this is the hamburger they gave us. But you guys, it's not... Y'all remember when hamburger used to have literally the red lines in it?
Be honest, how long could you go without showering? Because astronauts can go over a year. Yeah, astronauts don't shower in space, because if you think about it, running water from a shower head in microgravity, that's a disaster. Apollo astronauts gave themselves sponge baths, but they never changed their clothes, so it didn't help. Those poor people who opened the capsule when they returned back to Earth said that the scent was like a slap in the face. To be fair, they were living in a pretty small space for days, including everything you would normally do, like eating and going to the bathroom. On the Skylab space station, astronauts took a very complicated shower where they would strap themselves into foot restraints and then stand in a tube which would spray them with water and then suction it all out. Sounds good, but it took about 2 hours on average. So now on the ISS, astronauts have gone back to elevated sponge baths. They squeeze liquid soap and water from pouches right onto their skin. Then they use towels to wipe off excess water, and anything left is sucked into a nearby airflow system. Astronauts say that the International Space Station has a very lived-in smell. And they also don't do laundry.
So why can't we just forgive and move on? Because forgiveness doesn't lead to closeness or safety or connection. Now, forgiveness can lead to peace. That means we forgive them to let go of the debt that they owe us. That's why we say people owe you an apology. It's because they took something from you. There's a debt, there's a wound. They hurt you. And we can intentionally let go of that resentment and cancel the debt that they owe us because we know they can't really pay us back anyways. But at the same time, forgiveness alone doesn't lead to trust being rebuilt, does it? And a relationship lives or dies based on trust. We can forgive and move on, but if that person is still in your life and you're asking, why can't I just forgive them and everything feel okay? That's just not the way it works. Your body is too smart for that. It knows they aren't a safe person. It knows they aren't trustworthy. Why would your body want to give more of itself to someone who is only taking advantage of you or hurting you? If someone isn't interested in listening to your pain and validating your experience as real and being curious and taking accountability and repairing any hurt that they've caused, you can forgive them all you want, but you'll never feel close to that person, will you? Now, that's not to say that closeness after a betrayal isn't possible. It absolutely is, but only if both people are working towards repair and reconciliation. And that takes not only forgiveness from one, but also a willingness to take accountability and validate wounds from the past with consistent change in behavior. Forgiveness is wonderful, but intimacy and trust and connection will always require more than just forgiveness.
This little guy was trying to tell this guy something. Look at this one. It's like they are talking. These mutant animals cannot be real. This is crazy. You saw a dragon for the first time, but it's not a big deal in China. My God, this was China. Good people of Earth, you have dragons. And now which one is this? Oh man. Here it's like times changed. You mean these are real creatures and not movie creatures? Oh my God, look at this one. Oh, how could this possible? What can we call him now, my friends? This one is crazy. Hey, this one looks like a skinwalker. Is this cat normal or is it sick? Good. It even have muscles. It's like it's been hitting the gym. Oh my God. And some bugs. This is a real bug. This one can suck someone's blood, or what does it do? This is crazy. It gives people. These animals, you know them. Oh, this one looks like Batman of the water or the WhatsApp. Man, this one is crazy. Oh, but not as crazy as this spider. Oh my God. Oh, it's like spider just interbred there with the crabs. Oh my God, and more even strange stuff. Look at this. What type of poultry is this? Hey, good people from Texas. We are seeing a strange thing. Are you seeing these things? Look what these good vibes people just saw on the water. One extremely gigantic creature. What? Oh my God. Hey, some of these things are mysterious. Look at this crab. Oh, this is not the real crab. The others is like they are what? And a crab chicken. English people, what happened here? Oh my God, this is strange. Very strange things.
Medical Things They Don't Tell You, Part 36. In 2017, a new form of cancer treatment called CAR T therapy got approved. Just one injection of this, depending on which CAR T, can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But what's cool about it is you take your own T cells, you send them to a lab where we engineer a new receptor onto the actual T cells that recognizes the cancer better. Then you re-inject them into the body and they actually kill the cancer better. In some cases they don't work, but in some cases they do work. It's a newer technology. We'll see what the results will be in the next 10, 20 years to see if they kind of put you into a long-term remission with the cancers.
Look how familiar that face is, and I'm finna tell you who the fuck that really is. Because it's not Jesus. His name is Cesar Borgias.
Hello, my friends. So that is completely incorrect. So this conspiracy theory presents this idea that the depictions of Jesus that we're all familiar with are actually based on Cesare Borgia, who was a patron of Leonardo da Vinci. Did Leonardo da Vinci ever draw Cesare? Yes, we have one confirmed illustration. And this is it. As you can see, not very much like the depictions of Jesus we're used to. The tradition of depicting Jesus as a European-appearing man with a beard and long brown hair actually goes back centuries to the Romans. This is a 4th century depiction from the Roman catacombs. And this is shortly after from the 5th century. People gotta stop dragging Da Vinci into all these conspiracy theories, man. Let my man rest in peace.
And this is over the sky right now. What the hell is this? They were flickering lights and there's a bunch of people pulled over on 75. What the fuck? They're changing colors? Yeah, but what is it?
You cannot convince me that those astronauts who have been stuck in space for 52 days now didn't go to try and discover the fifth dimension, just like the movie Interstellar. Like, what if they were able to discover a tesseract, which allows them to display the fourth dimension in 3D, which is how we see it, and now they're stuck in time. Literally, they could come back hundreds of years from now and be the same age because they were able to discover the fourth and fifth dimension. I mean, why was Boeing so pushy to get these astronauts into space? And if you think about the reason that the astronauts went to space in Interstellar, then you know it's quite similar. See, in Interstellar, the world was basically running out of food and they sent these astronauts into space. Interstellar literally takes place in a dystopian future where humans are struggling to survive because of a dystopian society and lack of food. So they send these astronauts into space to go through a wormhole near Saturn to discover a new place for mankind. What ends up happening is that this man leaves his daughter and he discovers the fifth dimension. This is the fifth dimension where he basically discovers time travel.
Yes.
And discovers that the fifth dimension represents a level of existence beyond our comprehension where time and space cease to be separate entities. And the fifth dimension weren't aliens, they were just humans from the far, far, far future. And by communicating through the bookcase, he was able to have his daughter save the world and turn around basically the extinction of mankind through food and other things. And I think this is what they sent those astronauts to do. 52 days and they're stuck, or maybe they're in limbo in this place where they're trying to communicate with us to fucking fix the earth. UFOs are really just us from the future. I mean, why do you think we've seen so many?
This is an incredibly cool video. Octopus meets a human sitting on a rock. Wait for the interaction. You see the eyes. It's so cool.
Sticky.
Amazing.
Kind of sticky.
Nature is so beautiful. It really is. I love videos like this.
Yes, I love you. You want to come up here? You want to come up on my leg?
I'm gonna get it. Look. Nope, gotta go. Bye, Octopus.
One of the reasons that Christianity didn't really catch on in China, although it was in China a long time ago, it has a lot to do with the attitude towards food. I bet you every Chinese who look at this picture are thinking, so many people, so little food.
I want to introduce to you Stanley Armour Dunham. You know who's significant about this cat? Follow me. Well, this guy was the distant cousin to George W. Bush, including 6 other U.S. presidents, such as Madison, Truman, Lyndon, Jimmy Carter, and George Bush. You know what's also really significant about this guy that nobody else ever thought? He's also Barack Obama's maternal grandfather. Yep, you guessed it. So if you don't think that the world's a stage and it's all been written and it's a big boys club that you're not invited to, this just proves it all. Anyway, lovely man. At the end of the day, you know what he also did? He was a philosopher for the CIA. Go figure that. There you have it.
Air puff test at the eye doctor. Everybody dreads this test to measure eye pressure, but it can be replaced by this little guy that is way better, way faster. It just looks worse on video. But let me show you in real time and in slow motion what it does. Here we go. I can do it really fast. Boom. Got my pressure 18, looks good, and here it is in slow motion. Believe it or not, definitely most patients prefer this over the air puff test. If your eye doctor has it, give it a shot. I don't think you'll go back.
Good vibes guy found this in front of their yard. What? Aye. Is the cat normal? Oh my god. She's alive. She was just admiring the nature, you see? Basking at the sun there, feeling good vibes. This one is interesting. These animals, my friend, are just wonderful. This is good vibes, my friends. You see? Look at this. Big up and much love to all the people watching that have animals or pets or they take care of people.
What are those, Daddy? Daddy, what are those? It was only a drip. Ouch. No! Climbing up now!
Oh, look, there's more right here.
No climbing! Mommy's climbing up now!
Nothing, get down.
Aren't those the same one?
Have you seen the moon this big in the sky recently? And why does it look so red? It's a rare blue supermoon, and despite it being called a blue moon, it's not actually blue. Blue moons are most commonly defined when we get an extra 13th full moon in the year, but this supermoon is rarer and comes from a more traditional definition when the lunar cycle has 4 in a season. It is thought this is where the phrase "once in a blue moon" comes from. Usually it would be brighter and yellow, but wildfires from North America made it turn red. Missed it? Don't worry, this is the first of 4 supermoons this year. The full moons of September, October, the closest this year, and November will also be supermoons.
Great intellectual laws for smart people. Let's go. First up, we've got Brandolini's law. The amount of energy needed to refute bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it. Have you ever been trying to talk sense into someone and you're pulling out all of the bells and whistles like you're making so much sense, your logic is on point, but no matter what you say, the person that you're talking to just doesn't get it? This is because they're actively trying not to understand you. They're bullshitting you, in other words. And trying to refute their bullshit is going to take way more energy than it took to create it. The takeaway from Brandolini's law: save your energy. Number 2, we've got Hanlon's law, otherwise known as Hanlon's razor. Never attribute to conspiracy what can be better explained by stupidity. Whenever something bad happens, there are always people who jump straight to the conclusion that somehow it's a conspiracy. And Hanlon's law is like, why are we jumping to those conclusions? You ever consider the possibility that maybe the people involved were just ignorant? Maybe they're lazy. Maybe they just don't know what they're doing. Do not invoke conspiracy as an explanation when ignorance and incompetence will suffice. Conspiracy implies intelligence. Number 3, we've got the absolute classic Murphy's Law. Nothing is as easy as it looks. Everything takes longer than you expect. And if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong, and at the worst possible moment.
When you live miles deep in the national forest, how do you keep mice out of your cabin? There's only one way. Let me show you.
Well, when I was scraping the paint off the windows, I found a hole that's mouse-sized and maybe pine marten size. You can see it right here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's a pretty big hole. So I got out the steel wool to plug it, because we know that animals don't like eating steel wool, so
It's like chewing aluminum foil.
like chewing aluminum foil. So
And the alternative to stuffing all the little holes is using poison. That's a non-starter. We have great and diverse wildlife out here, like pine martens, and these cute little buggers will do a great job mousing. We also have owls. Owls will take care of those. As soon as you poison a mouse, you put that into this environment and ecosystem that hasn't seen that poison, you're going to start killing larger predators. So we don't do that. Now, you do keep traps inside of your house, because even if you seal everything up, no matter what, in the fall and in the spring is when mice like to look for a new nesting ground, and they will do their best to get inside. So throw a few extra traps, put some peanut butter on them. Mice can't resist that, and catch a few strays if they get in.
Do you believe me if I told you that the Arabic word for pen, the French word for blowtorch, the Hebrew word for pencil case, and the Lebanese word for drinking straw were all related to the word calamari? It all starts with the Greek word kalamos, which meant reed. Now, back in the day, reeds were used to fashion writing instruments, such as pens, which is where Arabic gets its word for pen. Now, that Greek word passed on into Latin and eventually into French, where the definition became a little bit less literal. Instead of literally referring to a reed, it could refer to anything long and thin, like a drinking straw. Because of French colonial rule in Lebanon, many French words passed on into Lebanese Arabic, such as the word for drinking straw. But in French, the word continued to evolve to come to mean blowtorch, probably due to the long and thin nozzle. Now, rewinding back to Latin, if the word calamos could mean pen, then the word calamarios could mean something related to a pen, which is where Hebrew gets its word for pencil case. Now, that Latin word continued to evolve into Italian, where it still meant something related to a pen, Classically, this would refer to ink or an inkwell, but over time, the meaning shifted to referring to that which produces the ink. Squid, calamari.
Hey, it's Glamham. Remember this? The Mexico radar anomaly in Guanajuato, Mexico? That, they say, is a radar test. Now, there are things that look like anomalies that I believe are radar tests. This one I recorded this week in Rio de Janeiro. I believe this radar test is called clear mode. But this one, I feel, is a little different. If you've seen my other videos on the radar anomaly, you'll know I did a deep dive and I found that everything that came up on the internet image-wise related to magnetic flux or fusion, but basically really complicated stuff, not just a radar test. Many people, including myself, did see similarity between this radar anomaly pattern and the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. Well, that's in Switzerland. Well, I did a little search for CERN and Guanajuato. Seems particle physics is kind of a thing in Guanajuato. They have get-togethers, including with CERN. And they've had them for years now. Since magnetic flux came up, I did briefly wonder, could it be a UFO? Well, this lady found some very interesting research herself.
Because all the volcanoes located in that part of Mexico, they're all connected underground. All connected underground. The bottom portion of this page is a paper written by a Harvard scientist, and he is putting forward the theory that UFOs or UAPs enter and exit through underground access points like volcanoes. He even mentions a volcano in central Mexico that has a high number of UFO sightings each year.
Well, I tell you what, let me show you a closer look of the footage I got of the radar anomaly. I asked some people and they said if it was a test, it would last just a few minutes. This went on for a couple of days. And just like the blob, it did show up on multiple weather sites. Does it kind of look like it maybe takes off? I mean, I'm just saying, entertainment purposes only. Just kind of does look like it takes off. Well, I'm sure it's just a glitch. See you in the comments. Take care.
Oh my God! Watch your back!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Holy sh**. Back in the boat! Back in the boat!
It was on! He was on!
Back in the boat! Back in the boat! They're coming back! I'm going to finish you guys off! Right here!
What just happened?
Oh my God!
Seriously, what just happened?
An asteroid flew into Earth's atmosphere today, and luckily it burned up over the sea over the Philippines. But the most important thing is we didn't know it was about to hit us until it pretty much hit us. And other terrifying space news, the astronauts that are stuck up in space right now, well, they keep hearing a really weird noise. It sounds like a heartbeat. Here, I'll insert it in here so you can hear it too.
We can configure that, Butch. Give us a minute and I'll call you back when it's ready.
Okay.
All right, Butch, that one came through. It was kind of like a pulsing noise, almost like a sonar ping.
I'll do it one more time, and I'll let y'all scratch your heads to see if you can figure out what's going on. Here we go. All right, over to you. Tell us if you figure it out.
Yep, good recording. Thanks, Butch. We will pass it on to the team and let you know what we find.
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck that is. We have no idea what that is.
He said, the Satan comes but to kill, to steal, and destroy.
No, he didn't. And I'm not trying to come against this guy, but this is the second time I've heard a preacher misquote this scripture today. So I took that as a sign. This comes from John chapter 10, verse 10, which says the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy, etc. And we often hear this talked about and preached as if the thief is the devil. We even had a song I heard recently that starts with the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And of course, the guy I stitched just said the Satan, and it doesn't say the Satan, it says the thief. But we can see exactly who the thief is if we go to the beginning of this chapter. In verse 1, he says, anyone who doesn't enter the sheep pen by the gate but climbs in some other way is a thief and a robber. And then he later says, I am the gate. A thief is a false messiah or anybody who's claiming that they can lead you to the Father or get you salvation without Jesus.